Namaste everyone, this is Brad, and welcome to the 2-Minute Tune-Up Podcast. This is a quick 2 to 10 minute podcast that offers self-help and coaching advice to Naturally Sacred's email list members and listeners. Here you'll find short bursts of inspiration and guidance. So, today's topic, helpful tips on how to be more assertive. So before we begin, I just want to take a couple seconds here and explain the difference between aggression or being aggressive and being assertive. So being aggressive is actually standing up for yourself in such a way that the rights of the other person is actually violated in the process. And it's really an attempt to either humiliate the other person or at least put the other person down. Now, being assertive, on the other hand, is also standing up for yourself, but it's done in a way that does not violate the basic rights of the other person. And it's really a direct, honest, and appropriate expression of one's feelings and opinions. Now, the other end of the spectrum is basically being passive. Now, being passive is, your rights are basically the ones that's being easily violated because you're basically not standing up for yourself. So, all too often there's confusion between being assertive and being aggressive. And it's really my belief that you start to lose credibility and the moral high ground as soon as you show any signs of aggression. So many people find it difficult, extremely difficult to be assertive, kind of because of this, because they don't know the difference. But it's whether it's in the workplace or their personal lives, whether it's their friends, their families, their coworkers, they just find it difficult to be assertive. So there are some very simple techniques to being assertive. Starting off here, we're going down a list. First one, actually the first two I'm going to group together, and that's set expectations and set boundaries. Expect to be listened to first and foremost. So set clear expectations of yourselves and others. Don't expect other people to read what's on your mind or anything like that. Articulate exactly what it is that you expect from them and why. And you'll be amazed at the difference there is when you're mentally prepared, when you mentally expect people to listen to you. And it's important also that you create positive boundaries. I mean, we all feel at our most comfortable if we know how far it is that we can go with the other person. So take control of the situation and set out your expectations. Physical presence. How you use body language can make a huge difference in the way that you communicate with others. It's really part of the expect to be listened to. So be confident, hold your head up high, and be a force to be reckoned with. If you look intimidated or intimidating, then others will either be intimidated or be intimidating as well. So it's that perfect balance that you have to find. And the other thing that comes with, your physical presence is basically your environment. What environment are you in? Are you in a hostile environment? Should you wait? Are you in a comfortable environment? Are you sitting at a desk? Are you standing up? Are you at equal heights with them? All that stuff has a bearing on how your communication will go. So keep that in mind and be careful not to give mixed messages. Next, work on your tone of voice. The tone of voice has a major impact on whether you'll be heard. So take a deep breath so that your voice is sustained. And think about the message you want to give. Try not to shout. Try not to nag. Try not to whine or any of that stuff. And simply state what it is that you want to say in a matter-of-fact voice and without any aggression. And practice. Practice makes perfect. So practice in your mirror, practice in your bedroom, practice in the bathroom. Again, practice makes perfect. Which really leads us and really kind of goes hand in hand with this next one. Be prepared. If you're prepared, you will naturally speak with more authority and be better able to deal with the things that come up. Plan what you want to say and how you want to say it. This is particularly important if you're speaking to a group of people. Be firm but friendly. Now, it's really important, obviously, to connect with the group or the individual that you're going to be dealing with and communicating with. So you want to be open, friendly, smile, and feel in control. It'll have a positive impact on the person or the group that you're dealing with. And again, it all comes back down to communication. So be mindful of the language that you use. Language is an extremely powerful thing, and anybody who tells you it does is not, and anyone that tells you words can't make or break is lying to you. Now, you want to start off with a positive statement. It really sets the tone. And try to use language that doesn't put people on the defensive. Use terms like, I feel like, instead of starting a sentence with you. Or use a term or a phrase like, I would like you to, instead of just coming outright and being forceful and say, you need to do this, or something to that example, or something to that nature. Just some examples. Next, remember to be thankful. Now, if people have done exactly what it is that you asked them to do, it's really important that you acknowledge their effort. In the future, they'll be far more inclined to work with you and put themselves out there again for you. Use humor. Now, this is kind of self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go deeply into this, but make sure you use the appropriate humor and make sure you use humor when it's appropriate. It should never be at your friends, your family, your clients, your coworkers, whoever it is. It should never be at their expense. Now, if you don't get what you want, it's not the end of the world. So what you want to do is be calm, be persistent, and stay in control. Repeat what you want and why. Ask them to consider the implications of not doing as you request. Now, you don't want to threaten them. You don't want to be a bully and try not to shout. But you do want to stick to your guns. And if there is a consequence and you outline a consequence to them, it's really important that you actually carry that consequence out. Those who find being assertive difficult often assume that everyone else finds it easy. And it's the farthest from the truth. The reality is, well, it may be true for some people, but the reality is that most people can feel anxious or even wrong-footed in some situation. I find it fascinating that when you talk to someone who appears to be supremely confident, the reality is often very different. Acting confident is what makes the difference. And you too can do it with a little bit of practice. Well, that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this information helps. If you have any questions for us, you can contact us at our website at naturallysacred.com.